was, yeah, just have you race, and then I'd have somebody save the replay, and then we were gonna like kind of run it as if just like a tape delayed, if you will, and then then you'd have extra insight on it. But then basically with the whole cat fight, my daughter was like, she'd feel better if I stayed home, and I was like, okay, I'll stay home with them.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. .40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. .40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. .40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway, and we are getting down to it. Tonight will be the final two races of the regular season before we hit the four-race playoff. So tonight here at Daytona, followed by Talladega, and then we'll have that 1 week off break before we hit those four championship races. So Brandon, say we're back at Daytona. 75 laps, our scheduled distance. And as always, we got the two faster pairs, two green white checkers, and plenty of hungry drivers. And after that off week, with Robert Hooligan getting that win at Atlanta, really, really great results for him. The thing I've been eyeballing a lot is the points, because again, we take the top 12, and right now we are showing the top 6 of the 8 races that we've had so far. Again, those 2 drop weeks. And I'll say we'll pull up those points for everybody that's watching so they can see exactly where those drivers are. And it's tied around that 12th spot right now. It's actually a tie for 12th with Jack Walls and Eric Laurie, both at 161 points. David Overstreet on the outside looking in by just 7 points. Then another 5 behind him is Dale Rapp. Keedy Engstrom's right there as well, just a little bit further back. So there's a number of trucks that are still definitely in that window. But then we also talk about the drop weeks as well. So there's a few trucks in this group, Jack Walls being one of them. He's already lost his 2 drop weeks, and Charles Johnson as well, who's up in third in points. So those are their drop weeks. They don't have any more kind of gimmies, if you will. So unfortunately, missing a race at that point will really potentially drop them down. So some of those guys need to make sure they're here this week or tonight, I should say, of course, and then next week before those playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see some strategies. We see drivers just try to get a lap lead just to kind of get that under their belt. And yeah, like you've always talked about too, maybe just a little extra aggression, just trying to be up front, control this race.
Yeah, you make a really good point there, with Jack Walls, and another guy lost 4 positions from last week is David Overstreet. You nailed it. They both have 6 starts this season, so I think the pressure is really going to be on them. So I think this is going to fall into the old school Daytona racing that we used to have here at Area 51, and that's where some of these guys in the front say, "Hey, we're gonna stay to the back. We're going to take care of our race car. We're going to nail our pit stops," and because they know it's going to be pretty intense up front early for them guys trying to get that bonus point. And then with the extra bonus lap tonight is really going to amp things up.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that extra bonus lap, let's go ahead and get that lap numbers. I know I had it. I got to hunt it down again. Lap 47 will be that magic lap number tonight. So, yeah, and also fuel window, I was hearing Brandon should be right around about 19, 20 laps or so. So pretty much guaranteed 3-stop race for tonight, which means, of course, pending cautions. We've seen that before, too, where that bonus lap, the money lap leader, could be during the pit stop sequence even. So we've seen some crazy things with the timing of some of those pits or some of those money lap situations. So it's going to be fun to see how it's going to go. I've been spying around on the Discords a little bit, trying to see who is where, and it's pretty much a good group of about 3 to 4 drivers, 2 to 3, 4. Looks like, 2 on the low side, 4 on the max side in the Discord. So there's a couple groups. Unfortunately, got a couple guys missing. Hopefully see them back in the trucks again soon. So, but it looks like at least everybody in Discord definitely has a friend on track tonight, and we know how important those are in these things.
Yeah, you're not lying. That's what you need, especially here at Daytona with pit road. You don't want to mess up here because of the big apron down there. If you spin out, we've seen some guys lock it up. The caution flag's not going to come out. And once we get that field broke up, the chances of a caution really, really start to get slim. So got to execute early, be on your P's and Q's, and hope you got them 4D racewear gloves pulled tight tonight.
Yeah, exactly right. So it'll be fun to see qualifying just about complete. And for maybe anybody that started the broadcast right off the kick, so you'll notice that I wasn't muted on the initial. So backstory is we adopted a kitten a few weeks back, and the 2 cats we have, they've kind of gotten angry at each other lately. And so this was going to actually be a tape delayed broadcast on Sunday, because I was going to go to my daughter's volleyball game, but she said, I'd rather you stay home with the cat's dad. So we're here. So we get to show it live tonight, Brendan. So yeah, so good luck to her in her volleyball game. I'm excited to see how much fun she had in that one. So I think it's really one of her first real sporting forays, if you will. So, but with that though, Brendan, we got to pull up our starting grid for tonight, and it is going to be Vicente Guerrero on pole, and teammate next to him, Cody Nagels, and you could not put anything between them. It's 0.000 between those top two in the front row. So great job by those teammates here tonight. Then you got Jim Duda there in the 33 and third, Everett Lane in fourth. And if I'm not mistaken, Jim Duda also hanging out. Yeah, he is with Cody and Vince as well there in Discord. So top three spots for that group in Discord. Well done to them. Everett Lane there fourth, Dean Wilkinson a top five. Then you got Jack Walls, Charles Johnson, Justin Davis, Keely Engstrom, and Eric Laurie are top 10. And then you got Robert Hooligan, last week's winner. Next to him is Jim Brooks in 12th. And I'm already looking at this, Brand. I mean, it's only half a tenth of a second from first to 12th so far here in qualifying. So again, just how little things make such a big difference. Then you got Les Levy, Tom Dixon, Hayden Davis, Adam Kilday, Paul Witt, Robert Amaral, Bob Fitzgerald, Doug Webb. And we talked about strategy. Maybe Mr. Strategy tonight is that 21 Gabe Butler opting not to put down a qualifying lap in this one, Brandon. So let's see what that 88's got under his sleeves here tonight.
Yeah, I think Gabe is right in that spot where we talked about earlier, with the points the way it is. He's sitting first in points. The guys up there you mentioned with Cody Nagels and Vicente, they qualified really good. Let's ride around in the back. Let's see what happens. Take care of our truck. We've seen Gabe do this actually more times this season than ever before. He's starting to master it, and he's talked about just getting to the sim a little bit late this season. So maybe that. But definitely going to be a big challenge there for the 88.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if there's somebody that's rode in the back and then gets to the front, Gabe is definitely going to be one of those. He's going to have a teammate next to him, Doug Webb. So he's going to have some friends around. So that should be a non-issue for a lot of those guys. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Again, this is Daytona, a little narrower than Talladega, like we always talk about. But I think a lot more comfortable running that third line than we saw last week at Atlanta. So I think that's going to be the question mark that we always talk about, is who is going to be that first one to jump to that third lane. But again, what I'm looking at is I'm seeing some teammates right off the kick here that are on that front row. So I expect to see these top three, really, Cody, Vince, and Jim. I expect to see them work together really well. So I think then it's just going to be who can find some friends in relation and see if they can make a move. And that goes to row number 3 to me, is that 55 Dean Wilkinson, the 9 Charles Johnson, those teammates lined up together. But pinned on the inside, they're going to have to find a way to get to that top line.
Yeah, not only that, but, Cody, he's been bouncing around, and he's worked very well there with the 9 and those guys. So that's going to be a little bit benefit just to know, hey, he's not in that channel, but they've raced a lot together. So a lot of times they've talked about, they know what the other one's thinking. They're going to have to be on the wheel tonight as the 14 and the 16 gets ready to bring us to green.
Yep, green flag is out, and we're underway against 75 laps. Our scheduled distance here, 2 fast pairs, 2 green light checkers should we need it. As they are underway, fuel window about 19 to 20 laps is what I was hearing. So we'll see what the strategies are going to be. Again, we'll see. I know Cody talked about a few weeks back wanting to try to give Vince a win, was definitely not happy that it didn't turn out that way. We'll see maybe if the opportunity presents itself again here tonight.
Yeah, and that could really help the 14. He lost 3 spots with that chaos race we had a couple weeks ago, and a win would certainly help his place in starting the playoffs, as we all do start even, but just knowing, hey, I finished the regular season well, that gives me a good motivation going into playoffs. As you can see, the 24 of Everett Lane and Team Bootnaka, he's really giving that 16 a good push along the high side, as maybe looks like the 16 can clear here. Ooh, and he goes down and takes that spot, being aggressive early as he's going to lead lap 1.
Yeah, so give lap 1 to Cody. That is that bonus point we talked about as well. And it's exactly like you said, Brandon, is we've kind of hyped on it week in and week out, where when you make those lane changes, a lot of times you do have to make those lane changes quick because the momentum shifts so quickly at these tracks. And so that's why he's able to get to that inside, jumps down in front of Vince. And of course, too, there's going to be that communication with these guys on Discord in those front 3 rows on the inside lane saying, hey, I'm clear, or Vince probably saying, hey, you're clear. Cody says, all right, let me jump down there just in time here before anything changes. So that is also a thing where the communication within the team is definitely going to be a little bit better. But now Vince's going to jump top again. We talked about trying to control both lanes if they can. And, of course, you talk about the bonus points right off the kick there, and Vince will get that lap led. So, again, add one to his total now on the point side of things. And all those little points are going to add up in the grand scheme of things for this championship. So, again, first you got to get to that top 12, and then you're going to go for those final 4 races to see if you can try to get that title this season.
Yeah, and I think the truck to really watch is the 24. I think he's going to be really aggressive tonight. Over just not only on Fridays, but Sundays, he's been caught up in somebody else's chaos when he's fell to the back and just been in situations the 24 hasn't wanted to be in. So I look to him to be more aggressive tonight and really try to give the 16 to 14 guys a run, saying, hey, I'm not just going to roll over and just let you guys just control both. I want to be up here because I don't want to fall back and get in that mess. So as I've seen, just as they came around that 88, he's moving forward slowly. But I think that's going to touch back when he gets up there is who's going to use that third lane, as you brought up. That third lane, a little bit more room here at Daytona. But what you said at the beginning with the comfortability of these trucks, the drivers have really, really been bragging about the setups and how these trucks have been racing the last couple weeks. So it's going to be very interesting to see who gets up there and makes that move first.
Yeah, it seems like right now everybody seems to be pretty comfortable from kind of what we're looking at here. Obviously, one of the guys that we've seen race with the boot knockers before is that 10 of Justin Davis. He's right now kind of just rolling that third truck in line on the top side behind Jack Walls. And as I say that, there's the move once more. This time, Cody's going to jump top in front of Everett. And you kind of wonder, too, for Everett. And actually, you see there's the 10 jumping out there. And I don't think that was intentional, but look at the checkup that did. And that's opened the door. Look at that 429 of Paul Witt. I think he gained about 2 to 3 spots just in that little checkup here. However, he isn't going to be able to find a way around at the moment, Les Levy in that 64 Maker's Mark truck. So he's going to have to try to find somewhere to slot back in. So everything he gained, I unfortunately think he's going to go right back to where he was as he'll slot in. Oh, no, actually doesn't get there in time. The 85 there, Adam Kilday, he's able to fill that slot. Gabe Butler going to follow along as well. So what looked like a great move, the momentum did not go his way, didn't get the draft he needed, winds up losing a spot or two after all that's said and done. Now, Gabe, though, you're talking about working that top side, he's on his way.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. And not only just for Gabe to get back up front, but I think a lot of these drivers, when we get to these narrow tracks, they wait so long to introduce that third lane. And then when we come down to the finish, some drivers are just in positions that they haven't been in. Maybe, we race some tracks, once or, 2 or 3 times a season. And if you don't have that comfortability of running that third lane, that's where that chaos begins. So I like Gabe getting up here. Not only him just moving forward, but getting the field around him. Hey, let's get comfortable racing 3 wide. We're really, really good drivers, and we can handle it. So let's pick it up here a little bit and put on a pretty good show here early.
Yeah, and Paul said, you know what, I like that idea. And you can see Gabe there, he's trying to roll top. He saw a little bit of that drift, I feel like, on the middle lane. That gave him, kind of let him move up a little bit, just kind of kiss the wall a bit. I don't think that was anything to hurt that truck. Honestly, maybe not even actual contact. But so you talk about the driver that might be aggressive in this mix here, and I'm watching here because I feel like only a moment of time, and there it is right on cue. Everett Lane's going to hop in front of his teammate in the 88. He's been kind of playing pusher. He says, no, you know what? No, I want to get to the front here, and he's going to get that spot on the middle lane in front of Cody. Can't quite clear that number 14 though with Vicente.
Yeah, can't clear him, but one guy that's really benefiting, I'm watching this, and he's got the 429 in front of him right now, but that's the 071 of Eric Laurie. Hey, he needs a really, really good finish. Start building that momentum back up. The 071, I think, would not like nothing better to get up here early, get him a good bonus point, and be up there around all his teammates as he's making that third lane work, as he's now got to the back of the 88.
Yeah, and I see one jumping up there as well. That's Doug Webb in that 714 truck, so he's going to join as well with his teammates. And there you go, that 24 Everett Lane able to clear the inside lane. And so now he's going to lead the 2 teammates behind him, or behind him / next to him, I guess you could say, with Cody. And there you go, though, like you mentioned, though, for the 071 Eric Laurie, he's got Gabe up alongside of that 16. So again, talk about the bonus points. We'll see who's able to try to catch this lap at the line. And at the moment, it looks like it will be Everett that time by. Not sure who got it last time. However, you saw Gabe was not quite far enough ahead to get that spot. But what I am watching, though, is look at how hard Eric Laurie is pushing that 88. It can only be that hard for so long because eventually those temps are going to start to creep up in that John Deere truck.
Yeah, they definitely will, and we haven't seen that much this season. The guys have talked about, you could really go about 3 laps pushing really tough, but I wonder how many of these guys like Vicente, they seen those boot knocker guys, and I'm waiting to maybe see it from the second lane as Everett moves up. But hey, let them guys be out front. Oh, we're gonna get a little hiccup here from the
I think
071.
Eric popped the motor.
Oh yeah, just talking about that.
I didn't see the puff of smoke, but that truck's got no power. Let me try to jump back here real quick, and I'll try to take a quick look, and we'll see. So we'll focus on Eric here. We'll go at speed because usually you'll see a quick little puff. And I think it may have happened as the camera was changing angles. But yeah, I think he's gonna have to stop here. He's gonna take a tow because there's just nothing he can do at that point. So again, just unfortunate there. And again, I mean, that's just the aggression. He's trying to get his teammate clear there, but just unfortunately may have got the temps a little bit too high. Again, we're completely speculating, but from what I could see and everything that looked like there, that to me showed just pretty much a kind of a black and white engine failure. Again, just when you get those temps too high, the water temp, the oil temp creeps, and sometimes you can't recover it back in time. And we had mentioned he was locked on to Gabe for a good chunk of time there.
Yeah, just talking about how good the motors have been, and maybe that's what caused that. Them guys just pushing that hard. And what is really, I don't know who was behind him. I would assume it's that truck right there coming off turn 2. We got to give Flowers got to give him a ton of credit for not running over the 071 and turning him and causing an early caution here. He did really good checking up, and just want to give him his flowers here for a second, because a lot of times when that motor blows, you can run that guy over in front of you and really tear up some trucks. So shout out to him, and I think that has a lot to do with the 88 maybe here dropping back to pick him up for that unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what is happening. I think Gabe has kind of dropped anchor to try to pick up Doug there. That way, again, because basically right now Gabe would be running by himself, Doug would be running by himself. So it's at this point, Gabe might as well just take the hit, get all the way back to that 714 of Doug Webb, and then start to try to work together just to minimize that time loss. Eric Laurie, I do need to mention, is still in pit road. He's having to wait for that tow to complete before it'll let him leave pit road. So, and again, this is going to unfortunately put him down multiple laps in that truck. So, again, it's just, we talked about it. Eric was, I think if I'm not mistaken, was on that cutoff line in that 071 truck. Yeah, he was sitting in 12th, titled Jack Wall. So that's going to be a tough spot. He's rolling out of pit road now, which actually, this timing may work out fairly well here. What Eric can do is he can lay back for Gabe. Gabe is laying back for Doug. And then they'll actually have a 3-truck draft. And so right now they're not quite I'd say they're about a full straightaway back, I'd say roughly, of the leaders. So really with the 3 of them, they should be able to run fairly comparable times. And of course on the pit side of things here as well, Brandon, they'll all need to come in about the next 6 to 7 laps here. So that'll be when a lot of stuff changes. We'll see the movements going from one lane to the other. And we'll see some drivers, again, maybe try to pit early. Some might try to run long. And then we'll have to see how that in and out of pit road goes. So for Eric Laurie, right now he's the only truck a lap or more down. He's only 2 down, actually, I have to say. So that's really not as bad as it could be at the moment. So yeah, so hopefully for Eric, he can get recovered back in this one. As you can see, the 3 trucks have found one another, though, in that second pack.
Yeah, and get that time while you can, too, because that 88 and Doug back there, they are going to have to come to pit road also with these guys. So I wonder if Eric understands he's a couple laps down. He is the only truck a couple laps down. Maybe does he come down pit road again, top off on fuel, get on the same page as the 88 and them, and not only that, but they'll benefit. I know he'll lose, of course, a little bit more time with coming down pit road again, but here at Daytona, 3 trucks is way better than 2 trucks. You can put down some pretty good laps, and it will also help that their teammates in the same channel. And this time they'll probably have a little bit more better, eyes on the dash and say, hey man, these motors a little bit little bit weaker tonight than they've been, and they can control it a little bit better and put down some good time to maybe cut into this just a little bit.
No, and it's a really good point. And again, this is usually the time where it's that pit cycle where sometimes a mistake of 2 tires versus 4 tires, or like we've seen, unfortunately, just missing your box, having to back up, getting in too hot, getting that penalty. So there are some opportunities, and that's where I'm torn. If I'm that 071 of Eric Laurie, I'm kind of torn. Do I want to keep staying out just in the off chance? Because again, when these guys all pit, he should pretty much put himself from 2 down back to just the 1 lap down. So if there was a caution in that cycle, he would actually be 1 down, and then he'd get the wave, and that would actually put him right back on the lead lap in 1 shot. So it's one of those things that the kind of the stars would have to align for it to occur, but we've seen crazier things happen in this league. So we'll definitely want to watch to see what Eric does, and he might kind of base his decision off of what the guys around do, or if he sees, hey, I might line up with a guy here on pit cycle, or maybe, like I said, if somebody pits and winds up right with them, that could be perfect. So what I'm seeing is, though, everybody's starting to get themselves positioned. I think Robert Hooligan, he realized, hey, I can't get down. I'm just going to roll to the back here. It's just not worth the gamble trying to force my way down line. Because, again, he mentioned in his interview on his win 2 weeks ago, he's rolling solo. He doesn't really have anybody working that he's officially working with. So he's kind of just at the mercy of somebody maybe giving him a spot, and in this situation did not get it. So it looks like he's going to cycle in right behind Robert Amaral in that 77 truck. So we've just about got that inside line train, though. So this is we're going to see somebody's going to start to jump to the top, though, and try to get that time back before they hit their pit stop.
Yeah, and I would have had maybe a little bit different strategy. You still see the 88 and the 16, or the 83 and the 16, excuse me, right in his top line. And you can see the 24. I don't know if as you can see, this 14's now he's laying back so the 16 can get in. Oh, it's going to get tight. Oh, I thought we might have going to have up there a little bit of a hiccup, but good move there by the 16 to get down, and the 429 not to run over the 14 with him just giving up a little bit to let his teammate in. But do we see the whole pack come down here, or do you think they're going to split it into 2, Gaio?
I feel like there's somebody that's going to run one more. Jack is usually really good on fuel mileage. However, you can see by just kind of the positioning of his truck, I think he really wants to get down here on pit road, but again, just isn't finding a spot to do so. And so, yeah, so actually right now, again, everybody's going to run that 1 extra. So they're going to go from lap 19 here. So they'll be pitting coming to 20, and that's in that window to make it a 3-stop race. And I think he just got his reprieve. That's going to be Dean Wilkinson. I think he's trying to give him a little bit of space here. Said, yeah, come on in, Jack. And that's exactly what Dean is doing here. And he's got a couple teammates behind him. He's got Charles Johnson. He's got Tom Dixon right there. So, yeah, so I think he's going to be able to get a spot open. But he hasn't been able to take it yet because the pace on that front line has really kind of slowed, in my opinion. But the way you're talking, though, it does feel like these guys are just going to wind up doing a full field pit stop, because nobody's joining to the top side here. I'm really surprised about that. So we'll see. Here comes the first batch. And no, it will be a couple trucks. Oh, saw a little bit of contact there. I think it was Robert Hooligan just catching the back of, I think it was Robert Amaral. Everybody stayed pointing in the right direction. So far, so good on that. Now it's all about these guys having to hit their pit stalls clean and safe. And again, make sure they have those tires set correctly. They do not want to take 4 here. Needs to be a 2-tire stop at the most.
Yeah, perfect execution up there by those front 3 guys. You can see right there the 24, the 16, and the 14 really hit their box good. Everett, it looks like he's going to get out way before these guys.
Yeah, he had a great exit.
Yeah, as we see here, the 83 is going to lead this second group in here. And now these guys right here, about the same size group, and got to be all on the same page, not run the guys over, as they're doing a good job here is fanning out. And some guys are actually going to say, we're going to go 1 lap more.
Yeah, it was impressive there, and that's the 2 of the TW trucks there. And so, yeah, so again, so far so good. It looks like everybody's able to get in. Everybody's trying to find their pit stalls now, so you can see everybody's kind of trying to stagger off a little bit just to make sure there's the contact we were worried about, though. The 51 and the 08, they were kind of going for that same real estate there, and Bob, unfortunately, getting the worst end of the deal there. So we'll have to keep an eye and see. Obviously, he's going to lose the draft, and that's unfortunately just a heartbreaker for him. And what these 3 got to do right now is exactly what they're doing. Charles is just giving Dean everything he can on this pit entry lap. You got Keedy Engstrom staying pretty tight to that 9 truck of Charles Johnson. And so we'll see them make the sharp left here coming to lap 22. And here's that separation we always talk about. You want to give each other some room. Here comes Dean going wild into the pits. That looked a little overzealous to me. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But so far, I can tell you pit stop wise, everybody's right on their numbers, about 9-10 seconds. So I don't see. Oh, I lie. I do see 1 4-tire stop. That mistake we talked about. Unfortunately, Tom Dixon, it looks like in that 411, wound up taking 4.
Yeah, if Dean,
Oh my God, look at that. He's off and away.
I thought he was gonna join Gabe Butler and them guys back there. That's so
Looks
crazy.
like
And
Keedy
that
got caught though. Oh, nope, he's away too, but a long stop for Keedy in the 64 truck.
did the 88 and those guys, did they make their pit stop? I know we
Yes.
was watching the leaders. They did make their pit stop.
Yeah,
Do
Doug
we know?
and Gabe did pit. Eric Laurie has not pitted yet.
Okay,
So,
okay.
and this is a tough spot for Eric Laurie because he has not found any drafting help, so he is still off on his own. And so what he's gonna need is that caution sooner than later. And also, big shout to these two though. Again, they're gonna cycle out. They won't hold the lead as they're gonna squeeze 3 wide here, but they're gonna hold to that lead pack, and they've got a 2-lap advantage over this lead pack. So great job by Charles and Dean there. And that's going to split the field right now because you're going to have 11 trucks here. The only 2 trucks that were able to stay with that main draft after the first pit stop that went to the 1 lap longer than Cody and Les and company, Justin Davis, Robert Hooligan. Everybody else, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks on back, all these guys lost that main pack. So we've got a couple separations now. So Jim's about to catch him with help from Tom Dixon. And so, yeah, just unfortunately, again, that second pack just did not have that in and out that they were looking for tonight.
Yeah, and I think this is going to benefit for these guys up here. You know, we were talking, you know, the with the next pit stop and everything, the pit stops going forward, these guys can really do a good job now. You know, it doesn't have to be a hard-nosed race up here. A lot of these guys are teammates, and but Les Levy says, nah, not today. I'm going to the front. But these guys can really start to maybe save a little bit fuel, which will make that final stop just a little bit shorter for them, and that can pay off for the win. They got to get there first, but the 62 said, hey, I want to take the charge of this race and maybe get a lap led.
Yep, and saying he did get that lap led, and there's a reason why. So we're going to look at that back of that truck, and you see it right there. He wants to go fast there. So he's got on the back of that truck, so that's why you see Les. He's not going to ride around. He's going to go to the front, and he's got another driver that's always tries to find their way too as well, and that's going to be Adam Kilday in that 85. So, yeah, right now though, Brandon, so yeah, we got our top 11 now. That is the breakaway from these guys. I'm a little surprised, honestly, right now for Dean and Charles. I kind of thought they would just go in the kind of the mid-pack back and just ride and just basically just save some more fuel and see what they can do. Again, maybe make that final stop just that little bit shorter to make sure that either maybe get the advantage to try to pull off the win at the end, or to just, again, be able to have a better chance and be able to easily stay up with the lead pack during the pit stop cycle. So we'll have to keep an eye on the strategies from them, but there is going to be one more stop before we get to that lap 47 money lap, so there's still some time there. And then next is going to be watching the pace of this pack here. You got Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Tom Dixon, Hayden Davis, and Robert Amaral. Unfortunately, we mentioned the long pit stop for Keedy Engstrom. That's cost him the draft. Eric Laurie just hit pit road now. He went as far as he could, so that's it for him. He's got to come in now. And then with Gabe Butler, they've picked up a friend with Doug Webb, and that's going to be Bob Fitzgerald. We saw, unfortunately, the contact with him and Jim Brooks on that pit entry. So we'll jump back up front, though, and we'll keep an eye on these leaders. And then we'll also, of course, have to see where does Eric Laurie come out in relation. And I have a bad feeling, unfortunately, he's going to pretty much be by his lonesome once more because he's just leaving pit road now. And he's going to see those 3 he was working with swing right around him here in just a moment because, yeah, and there he goes. So, unfortunately, Eric is going to be a lonely driver in that 071 truck.
Yeah, and that was earlier. I was really hoping that he would just go ahead and pit there again with Gabe. Take your loss there because, as we're going to see now, it's gonna suffer even more just being out there by yourself. But speaking of that 85 truck, it really been a silent assassin this year. Hasn't got a win yet, but he's tied for the most top 10s, and guess who he's up there with? Cody Nagels, Gabe Butler, 1-2. in points. So that he's done a really good job. Turned a lot of laps this season, kept the truck clean, and it's really paid off for him. And without getting a win, sits right here in fourth. And I think that would be nothing more than a confidence booster to beat these guys up here and get that first win of the season. So hats off to the 85 this season and this race, doing quite a good job.
Yeah, no, I've been able to race with Adam a fair number of times, and yeah, he's really, really good. His see Dean there, I think he just had either maybe a little bit of a moment or just thought something he didn't like. He jumped up for a second. Charles reacted and gave him some space as well, and so everybody's able to get right back in line though without any dramas. But yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see the strategies of these guys. Like I said, we talked about the teammates. So I'm looking at the main pack, and so you've got the 33 of Jim Duda still with Cody and with Vince. Those three are all together. See Paul Witt as well. So actually, they've got all four of their drivers that are in that same Discord. They're all together on track as well. So great job by those four. We'd mentioned the next pack just hasn't gone to plan right now. Everett Lane's kind of the lone boot knocker in this main group. As we saw the issue with Eric, and then unfortunately we saw, I think again, kind of the sportsmanship as well, where we saw Doug Webb just making sure he didn't run over his teammate and just doing a really good job, too, teammate or not, to avoid that incident. And then Gabe dropping back to pick up his teammate. So again, just the selflessness of all those guys. So unfortunately, that's kind of hurt him a little bit. But then we just talked about both of them there. Les Levy leading that inside lane. He's working with Adam Kilday. So they're both right there in that front pack. So they're in a good spot to work with each other. Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, they're together, but not where they want to be on track position-wise. And lap time-wise, it's the same thing. Their last time by here, Brandon, was about a second slower than the leaders. Just aren't able to kind of get those big pushes that we're seeing in that front pack here. And then we go over to TW, and you've got Charles and Dean, and unfortunately Tom Dixon in that second pack, and we saw the issue with Bob Fitzgerald a little earlier as well. And then we got the Team Davis, and I believe we have one of the Davises there. Yep, Justin's in the main pack. Hayden, unfortunately, split in the second. So, again, just sheer numbers. Advantage really goes to that group with Cody and Vince and Jim and who am I missing? I just had it and I lost it. And Paul Witt. Apologies, Paul. But yeah, so they're all together still, so that bodes well for them for strategy later on in this race.
Yeah, and not only just the race, but the season, you know, and the playoffs as we go forward. You know, I talked to Gabe. I believe he was either first or second a couple weeks ago, and just talked about, you know, team, you know, they had ran good that race, but Team Bootnock had just kind of been really off this season, and just putting a team, you know, win together. And that's not just, you know, maybe finishing 1, 2, 3. That's everybody finishing on the lead lap or not losing a car to a wreck. And sometimes you can't prevent it racing super speedways, but those guys up front, you know, with Cody and where you know, Vicente, where really it's Cody where he's been, he ups that team, and we can just see it here tonight with those guys, and to win a championship in this league at Area 51, as we hear everybody say, you need your teammates, and hopefully Team Bootnaka is just waiting for that whole luck as a team to turn around, and hopefully it does before we enter the playoffs.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is, I mean, you can just claw your way into 12th, and then you can just go on that tear for those final 4 races and get a title. So you can never feel confident in these situations. So that said, though, the favorite son's in the YouTube chat. He wants a recap of the race, and so basically the gist of it is all is well for the first good section of the race, probably about the first 10-15 laps. And then we believe, unfortunately, Eric Laurie may have pushed the 88 a little bit too hard, popped the motor on that truck, wound up having to take a tow. That put him 2 laps down. And then during the pit sequences where, of course, the shakeup happened, where the drivers that pitted on lap 19, pretty much all of them, for the most part, were able to stay in this lead pack. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, they went 2 laps longer. They are in this main pack as well. And then Justin Davis, Robert Hooligan, those that pitted on lap 20, able to stay with this main pack as well. But then, unfortunately, those that did not hold the pack, including Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Tom Dixon, Hayden Davis, and Robert Amaral, they're in the second pack, and just lap times are not at the level, unfortunately, of what that top group is. And Brandon, this is also, there's the 2 trains of thought here of the pushing and the drafting, where I don't think there's enough trucks for these guys that go double wide. But when you have a big group like this, people talk about a big single file line. But I've actually heard that in this situation, running side by side is actually the faster way to do it. Of course, you still have to be aggressive on your drafts, but I have heard that running side by side like this in a bigger pack is actually a way to get better lap time. So don't know how or why, but it's one of those things that everybody's got their theories of which is the better approach.
Yeah, and I think it's just more what you're comfortable, with. And it was just from my experience in here, got a little kiss there in the corner. But my experience, and you could probably chime in on this race and too. It's just a lot of drivers just have a strategy, right? Cody Nagels, for instance, leading this race, he'll tell you, "Hey, I want to lead every single lap. It doesn't matter if it's first race of the season, the third race of the season, I want to be up front." And then some guys like the strategy of just, I want to be there at the finish. Yeah, I want to finish the race, and then I'll try to make a move. So I think it just comes back to comfortability and who you're comfortable around racing. Some of the guys, we get new guys racing in this league every single season, and I think that comes back to it. Am I comfortable pushing this guy or being around this guy? So experience plays a big factor.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And so, like you said, at this point in the season as well, you're getting to that point where it's like, okay, I've raced with this guy 6, 7, 8 races. I kind of know what to expect and what they can handle, can't handle, or things like that. Or even unfortunately on the other side, it's like, I don't really trust pushing this guy, and so I need to maybe not do that. And so yeah, so there's always that balance that's made in these deals. So. But you mentioned the strategy of who likes to ride in the back, who wants to be up front. You're right. Cody's always been one of those guys that if he can lead every lap, he's going to try to lead every lap. I'm definitely one of those that always try to hang in the back until the pit stop cycle. And then after the pit stop cycle, or towards the pit stop cycle, I would then try to get to the front for the pit stops and then see where I cycled out. Ideally in the main pack, but then I would do the same thing. I'd roll back, try to save fuel, and kind of rinse and repeat. One driver that I feel like used to be that way and has changed his mindset is Dean Wilkinson. I feel like, Brandon, I think we've both noticed it, where he used to be one that would just kind of cruise in the back and take it easy, make sure he wasn't making ideally not getting caught up in anything. And then I think maybe the last season or so, something clicked and he's like, you know what? I've done that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be up front. I'm going to be aggressive. And I think it's been really good for Dean. And I'd say the most aggressiveness I think we see from him is the pit stops. Again, I didn't think he was getting through that one without a penalty, and somehow, again, able to get in and out, no penalty. And I mean, he's hustling that thing.
Well, yeah, and I think you nailed that perfect, Gael, because he does. I don't understand how he does it. This last pit stop, I would have bet $20 on it. He was going to the back and he was going to get a penalty. But he's understood it. He's put in the work. He's put in the practice, and that's what it takes to be able to fly down these pit roads, not lock your tires up, and especially like these races where they go green and you're not changing tires. And when you come down and you push hard on those brakes, it wears the tires. And not only that, but just racing in general. And to be able to keep control of that truck and keep the speed that he does is very good. And we see him and other drivers, they can stick it out a lap or two without this lead pack because they can execute so good on pit road. Then they're not in any chaos if it happens, and then most of the time they're leading the field at the end of the cycle. Like you said, they end up getting past just because of the big pack, but they're out front most of the time every single pit stop. So that can change your whole race when you're not caught up in no mess and you're out front. And using the Cody Nagel strategy, it's hard to get in a wreck if you're leading the pack.
Yep, and it's about time to hit pit road, I think. And yep, there you go. It's going to be a quick reaction. A lot of them jumping late there, it felt like. Look how close Vince and Cody were. Look at the 24, the 33. So actually, this is the whole group with Cody, Vince, and we've mentioned the teammates there as well with Jim and Paul. But Everett said, you know what? I'm going to crash this party because I need to have some guys to race with. And you can see right there, he's trying to make sure no contact. He gets nice and clean installed. Same thing for Jim there. And Paul Wood qualified a little further back, but you can see he's going to be the first one to start rolling. And he's going to get that head of steam here on the exit. But what I just saw right there, you saw the right sides going on the 33. That cost him 2 seconds. Those 2 seconds could wind up being just exactly the opposite he needs because they are gone. And Jim's going to be in a bad spot here unless maybe those teammates back up for him. But here we go. Here's the next set of drivers. That's going to be Adam Kildare, Les Levy, Robert Hooligan. And Adam's sending it in there on entry. You can see, look how many truck lengths he gained there just on that entry alone. So once more, going a little further, that 55 and the 9, and they're going to have a little extra help here. They're going to have Eric Laurie. They had Justin Davis here as well. So this is going to help that in-lap even more for these guys, Brandon, because they're going to have those extra trucks pushing, and then give them a little extra head of steam here.
Yeah, most definitely. And, you know, look at Eric Laurie. What does he do here? Does he stay with this pack and come down right now and get back with this group and maybe, you know, just hope that you get some cautions? And, I mean, I guess he would get back either way, but just be back in the group. I would rather be with the group racing than just driving by myself. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he can help these guys benefit and keep the 55 and the 9 out once they do pit.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Is like I said, and that's what you mentioned the first time around was what he should do if he should pit with Gabe and them. Wound up staying out longer, and that wound up costing him that extra lap, but just because of the fact that he was trapped, running by himself for that handful of laps until the lead pack caught him again. So yeah. So and then Dooney mentioned the other group pitted, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks. They've come out really tight together, but again, though, this is where the issue is the separation. Tom Dixon's back there, Hayden Davis. So they're losing their help. Bob Fitzgerald, he's on pit road as we speak. We'll see now. Dewey, see, yep, here comes those 3. But you mentioned Eric Laurie. He's going to stay out against that. Puts him at the moment back to 2 down. However, I just saw there's a couple things that could be occurring here. So far, no yellow. Looks like we'll stay green. So it looks like Robert Amaral may have spun on pit exit in that 77 truck, and he's rolling again. I'm going to do a quick check here to see. And actually, yeah, he's doing some serious off-roading there. I think actually he's trying to stay off track there to not affect the guys. And yeah, so there's the loop around, but off the racing surface, so we do stay green on that one. So we'll jump over to Dean and Charles and Justin. And once again, though, the breakaway, I don't think the 10 is going to hang on to those top 2. And so, yeah, so we're going to have to see where everything cycles around, because I think we're going to lose a few more trucks in this whole cycle, Brandon.
Yeah, and this is where I wonder, you know, I know it's tough, you know, because, you know, they're racing. They don't know where everybody is on track exactly, you know, maybe a little bit of communication. But I think if I'm Everett, you know I know I don't want to try to maybe control Eric's strategy of the race, but I'm saying, hey, will you please pit with those guys? Please, I need a teammate up here. I'm up here by myself fighting for everything I got. And he would have came out right here with the 55 and the 9 and been right up here to give Everett a little bit more help. But maybe on the last strategy here, he's just trying to maybe play it till he gets the caution. Is Justin Davis, it looks like, is trying for all he's worth to stay with this pack.
Yeah, this is where he's hoping that somebody is going to just lose that little bit of momentum. And you can see there's the momentum we talked about. They're going to go 3 wide, try to not quite clear there. You can see it was close between Adam and the, oh man, again, almost contact there with Adam and Robert, then Robert and with Dean there. But that could have been, nope, it's not enough. I was going to say that may have been the hiccup they needed. And actually, as I say that, Paul Witt's got a couple of blinks there. That is not what you want to be if you're that car behind. So right now, if you're that 126, you see that guy disappear, he comes back, and you're just thinking, please don't reappear in my lap. And it looks like he's settled back in. But yeah, so there you go. Here's the difference to show you again how crazy this is, Brandon. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, their pit stops were about 34, 35 seconds. Justin Davis was a 36.5 seconds, so only a second and a half slower than Charles Johnson. That's what cost him the draft, because he is now 1.7 back, and so he's lost that window. So unfortunately, he is going to be off on his own. Same thing for Jim Duda. He's lost that draft. He's got some help now, though. And then we talked about Eric Laurie. He has some drafting help until he has to pit, so that'll at least kind of minimize that for the moment. But what Eric, like you said, what he really was hoping to see there was a potential caution, which we almost did see. So, yeah, so the same. And now we're getting to it, though. It's about to be that lap 47 window here in just a few more laps. And I do need to mention, popped over in the chat. Saw Bud pop in the chat there. He says he'll be back in a few weeks. And, yeah, we definitely miss you as well, Bud. Hope you're doing well. I know you've got a little bit of recovery to get done there. So hopefully everything's going well. Hopefully everything went smoothly for you. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you on track as soon as possible. But Brandon, I think these guys are looking at that lap 47 marker because they are getting spicy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Eric Laurie wants to see. Hey, get it 3 wide. You know, we can see the 16 going to jump up there, and now this is going to give the chance for that 429 that we talked about at the beginning of the race when he made that big move to get to the 3rd lane. And here he could maybe get his chance if the 126 gives him a pretty good push. Those guys can lead the bottom. Cody Nagel says, nope, I'm going to jump right back down. So, but what they are going to do is they get 3 wide. They're going to have to figure something out because they're going to be catching about maybe 4 cars. You can one there in front of them, and then there's about 3 a little bit further ahead. So, something to keep our eye on as these guys race 3 wide.
Yep, exactly right. So we're on lap 46 now. So again, next lap will be the start of the final lap, but it's going to be the completion of lap 47. That's going to be who's the leader at the line. So right now, it's going to be between, it looks like Vince and Cody, but I'm watching Dean. I think Dean's rolling back, trying to get some temperature back in that 55 truck, and expect to see Dean, I think, make a big charge. But then also for Everett here, if Everett can push that 14 clear, and there you go, watch for Everett here. I think he wants to jump up if he can in front of Adam Kilday, and he could make a move, but that gap is going to fill too quickly. And now while they run 3x3, they're going to have some traffic in front. Eric Lorry's going to lose it on the pit exit, try to get too greedy on the throttle. We stay green. He spun off the racing surface, so a tough night for Eric. Continues to go worse, unfortunately. But here you go, though. This is the money lap, though, Brandon. They're going to catch Bob Fitzgerald. Bob says, you guys go right at it. I'm going to get down to the apron. Dean's looking to the outside here. Nope, he's going to stay tucked in with Adam. But right now it looks like Paul Wood's doing a great job of pushing Cody there. So we'll see who can get that run, though, out of 4.
Yeah, definitely a good run here. The 429 not pushing as hard as I thought he would. I think this is that same thing with maybe the engine. These guys are saying, hey, I'm comfortable riding where I'm at. But it looks like maybe the 85 is going to get it here on the outside.
Oh, Adam's going to steal it there at the very end. Great pushing from Dean. You can see Adam immediately jump straight to the bottom. You can see Dean, I think he was rolling out of it. So money lap goes to Adam Kilday in the 85. Great job by him. But the race is not over because we still got about 28 laps to go here. So again, the pit window now, Brennan, that's the next discussion. That window's going to open in about 9 more laps. So again, about 18, 19 to go. You can make it to the end. Do you want to go a little further? Have that green-white checkered buffer in your hand. Really, the only drivers that could take advantage of that are Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson. But now that the field has dwindled, I don't know. Do you take that risk? But look at Bob Fitzgerald. He's going to catch the draft again. Not the night he's hoping for, but he can play a role. He can help his teammates pit with them and maybe give him that third truck draft to help him out.
Yeah, is there any way, can we pan a little bit forward of this pack? They're getting ready to catch 3 cars or 3 trucks, and Gabe is in that. So it's going to be interesting to see. He paid the favor to go back earlier in the race and pick up the 714. I wonder if the 714, says, hey, let's pit together. We're going to be with your teammate now. He's up there running for the win. Can we help him in that way to pay back the favor? As you can see, Gabe jumping right there to the back. I think that was just the 714 running hot.
And
so
I think that's,
this group right here play a big factor in this last pit strategy.
Yeah, and that's exactly it is. And in this, there's no like orders where it's like, hey, if you're lap down, you got to just completely let everybody by. There's the general spec where basically if you're getting lapped and the leaders are side by side, move to the top lane or something like that to let them by. Sometimes, obviously, there's the aggression and kind of just drivers being competitive. I mean, you're going to start to see sometimes they might try to hold the line and say, hey, this is my best chance to stay on the lead lap or get my lap back. But what I see a lot of times, and I think is exactly the way to go, is, again, if you're Bob Fitzgerald right now, you have Dean with you, you have Charles Johnson with you, just run with them. I mean, if you're Bob, you're going to try to push Dean or Charles to the win here.
Yeah, most definitely. In the better numbers, the better chances. So we can see here with Vicente and Cody, they got their 2 trucks up there. I believe, is Jim Duda still with this pack? I know he was earlier.
No, unfortunately, he had that pit miscue where he was about a second longer in the pit. I think he took rights instead of lefts, and I think that cost him. But now also for Justin Davis, he finally has a group of trucks to catch, but they've got a pretty good head of steam on him, so he's got to try to tag back onto them. So right now, yeah, it's basically this top 9 battle for the lead on the lead lap here. And then, like I mentioned, Bob Fitzgerald is down 2 laps. Robert Amaral right now is actually the first truck 1 down, the only truck 1 down. So he would be the beneficiary if we get that caution. But again, basically 5 more laps here, Brandon. We'll start to see that pit road open. as we're down to 24 to go.
Yeah, I would really, you know, if I'm in the crew of that team boot knocker, they're getting ready to catch Gabe in the 714 and those guys, and I'm saying, hey, Cody and these guys, you know, their team ever, you know, relaying, hey, their teammates not up here. There's only 2 trucks. Hey, can we get 3 trucks to pit together? If you pit with 2, it can be really tough. We've seen the 55 and 9. They've been able to catch the pack just because how good their pit instance has been. But if you make one mistake at this last pit stop here, it's going to ruin your whole night. So I think the 24 is really hoping this pack catches that group so he can have a teammate to pit with if they do want to change the strategy and come down just them 3 trucks so they don't get tore up dealing with
You
anybody
see right
else.
there, Vince rolled out of it, and Paul gave him plenty of room to get in. So that is the 3 trucks. So yeah, the 16, the 14, the 429, all working together. But you mentioned there, Brandon, is you've got Gabe and Doug Webb there in that main pack, as well as Keity Engstrom. But they're not that far away from another group, and that's going to be Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Tom Dixon, Hayden Davis. Add Eric Laurie to the mix because there they are. Let's jump back a few seconds. There's the next pack, then we jump back, and there's the lead pack. So there is a lot of traffic about to happen. This might be one of those deals where if I'm in this lead pack here, it can really go one of both ways, where you want to pit before you get to them. That way you don't have to risk any contact, any drama. But at the same time, though, if you stay and you steal their draft, you're going to get some really big laps when you kind of get that draft while you're still catching those guys. So there's going to be kind of those 2 trains of thought. But the thing is, again, the window's not open yet. And right now, Cody is getting that toe right now. He's picking up the toe off of Gabe and Doug and Keity here. So he's going to have, like I said, this lap probably has a good chance of being the fastest lap of the race. Again, just because of the draft they have and the toe they're getting off those 3 in front.
Yeah, very, very. Hey, and that helps too. You know, that helps these guys right here as they go to pick it back up. You know, that starts to knock off, you know, just a little bit faster. And you can see right here, those guys going to be real respectful. Let this group roll by. And I'm interested to see, is the 24 going to hop up there with these guys? This is the strategy to me. This can make or break the 24's race. And not only that, but some of these guys, I believe this is going to put them 1 lap down.
Yep.
Correct?
This is now a lucky dog battle. Yeah. So now Doug Webb right now is the first truck 1 down in this pack. And I say, sometimes I call things right. Last lap, 45.96 for Cody Nagels. His previous best lap was like 46.30s. So he's about 3/10 quicker. Oh, Eric Laurie just caught the wall a little bit there, trying to give some space. And so, yeah, so again, pit stops, again, not this lap. I think next lap the window is officially open. And now it's just going to be see again who's going to blink first. And like you said, if I'm ever at lane, I'm trying to see, okay, where can I get Gabe? Where can I get Doug to work with me? Eric Laurie, hopefully, as well. And like I said, have the 4 of us pit together. But at the same time, Gabe and these guys might say, you know what, let's run long because maybe we have a chance of that caution timing happening while we run that extra lap or 2. So it's going to be interesting to see because, like I said, they all pitted around 38, 39 window. So again, add about 19 laps to that. So it's pretty much coming up here. So I think we'll start to see that pit road open. I think maybe not this time, but I think we might see trucks come in next time by. I think will be when we see that first round.
Yeah, not only that, but if the 24 lets the 88 and them guys lead, if the caution does come out, they're in front of them, so they don't even have to worry about a lucky dog. Or we've seen sometimes with pushing, and you get a 0x, but iRacing will snag that lucky dog from you just if you bump at the wrong time and the caution does come out. So this, as we talked about at the very beginning of the race, it's crazy how it all came back around, but experience is going to pay very, very, very key in this last pit stop.
Yeah, like I said, this is now the money stop, so there cannot be any mistakes on entry, getting into your pit stall, getting through the gears on the exit. We've seen that come into play as well. And yep, here you go. And it's again going to be a late call by a few. The 24 does come with them, so it's going to be about 6 trucks coming together. And so far, everybody stays themselves again nice and separated. You can see right now the 85, he's going to try to find a slip slot there. Look at him gas it up there just to sneak in front of Vicente. And now everybody's got to hit their stalls. Oh, the 85 overshoots, 429 overshoots. That's going to knock them out of the draft. That's going to leave what? That's going to leave 3 of the 6 here, potentially. We'll have to wait and see where the others come through. but that's going to be a tough one for those guys. The 14, 16, they're rolling. Everett Lane is rolling. Robert Hooligan. So actually, Everett there, you saw there, he lost the traction on throttle there. That could cost him the draft here. So we'll see. Right now, it looks like it could be a 3-truck breakaway. We'll see. Now, again, now it's going to be all about lap times. And what I'm looking in front of Charles Johnson, who's actually, I'm sorry, Charles isn't leading right now. It's actually Doug Webb leading this pack. So there's that tail end of the lead lap you talked about. But they are going to get a very good lap right now because they're going to catch Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Tom Dixon, as well as Hayden Davis. So they're going to get a really fast lap here. This might be the lap to come in here if I'm them, Brandon.
Yeah, you're gonna, because you know the pack. Well, they don't know it, but we got the ability to see that how bad that first group struggled. With Everett leaving, so for them to get right back up to speed, it's gonna take a little bit longer. So as you said right here, they've used about all the speed they're gonna get. I would come down this lap also.
And it's going to be a busy pit road because there's going to be a few others as well. Jim Brooks, Jack Walls, they're coming in together as well. Gabe's going to try to get there, almost contact with that 19. And so it looks like everybody's going to get in there. Les Levy is actually the only of the leaders that came in of the lead lap drivers there in with this pack. So I'm going to be really intrigued to see how Les comes out in relation. Again, got to hit their stalls. Looked like, I think I saw a quick little reverse from the 51 truck. And so now, again, this is one more lap, though, that the 9 and the 55 are going. They can put less fuel in their truck. This should be a shorter pit stop for those guys, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And like I said, I'm just waiting for everything to cycle around to see kind of who is where in the drafting window. I can tell you that it is indeed Cody, Vince, and Robert all together. And here you go. This is going to be the last set of the leaders hitting pit road. And we'll see how they get in here. A really nice entry there for Keedy. He pretty much was as close to that cone as he could without touching. It should be a nice save entry for him. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson going to be the next ones to hit their stalls, along with Bob Fitzgerald. We just mentioned those. Try to make no mistakes. Everybody's got to get to their stalls. Nice job by those three there. Bob also in. He should be the first one to roll. There he goes. We should see those three come out as well. This might be the best organized one so far here. Now they got to get through the gears, though, first.
How in the world do these fellas do this? Perfect every single time. I mean, it's not as easy as it looks. If you've never drove on iRacing, or it's not that easy. It's so easy to lock it up and wreck these things, and these guys do it at such a high rate of speed, and they're going to come out pretty tight. Bob Fitzgerald, unfortunately, is not. But they got these guys right here. They got to get.
I'm surprised Keedy let them go here. I would have stayed in front there, and he's going to run the apron there. That's man. If Keedy had just stayed where he was, that was what Bob and Charles wanted, because they had a couple seconds. I don't think they were going to break away, but they were going to be in a much better spot. So. But look at this gaggle behind. There's Les Levy. Remember, he was the one I told you was the only driver in that second pack that pitted that one lap prior. He is in that main pack. Unfortunately, the ones that did fall off are Everett Lane, Adam Kilday, and Paul Witt. They're all there together as well. But up front, these are the lead duo here. We still got 14 to go, 13 at the line. But again, they're gonna get caught. There's too much gap. But man, again, I don't think it would have made enough of a difference, but it's one of those what-ifs for Keedy Engstrom. But I think he may have had an unsafe exit there because he's back on pit road in that 64, unfortunately. So, again, we've seen mistakes everywhere tonight, Brandon, getting in pit road, getting your pit stall, getting out of pit road. So you can't just do one of them. You got to get all three right.
Yeah, and it's difficult to put a complete race together because it's so easy to make a mistake, but the 55 and them, like you said, if they were able to stay, I don't know how much longer they would have been out there, but those guys only had 3 trucks. They would have had 3 trucks. It would have been quite a show, and it wouldn't have been the first time those guys have done it. They, a season ago, I believe, at Atlanta, those guys really put on a show if it wasn't for a caution, but they're going to hang out here, and we're going to get a whole group of trucks back together, which is just going to intensify everything and give us one heck of a finish, I feel like.
Yeah, so now we've got a race within a race right now. And so we have 6 lead lap trucks in this fight. So you can see Cody and Vince, they're on the inside line. You got Dean and Charles. So basically you have 2 teammates on the inside, 2 teammates on the outside. Robert Hooligan, he's opting at the moment to go to that top side as well. Then you got Les Levy. He is leading that outside line, or sorry, he's the last car on the outside line on the lead lap. But then you've got this lucky dog fight, which you can see Eric Laurie. He's multiple laps down, unfortunately, but he's trying to run that third lane. Again, he's trying to get one of his laps back again, just give himself some opportunities potentially. I think we're going to see Gabe. Yep, there's Gabe. He's going to go with him because now is the lucky dog battle. At the moment, I believe it was Jim Brooks. Now it's Gabe Butler because Gabe's gone to that third lane. So you've got Gabe, you've got Jim, you got Tom Dixon, you got Jack Walls. All four of those trucks trying to be the first truck one down. And like you said, even if it's a 0x, if there's a caution and if you even have the smallest 0x, that's going to take that lucky dog spot away from you. So this is, now you've got that race within a race. So right now it's really for the win. It's between Cody and Dean. For the lucky dog, right now it's Gabe holding it pretty safely because he's the second truck in this 3x3 train. Jim's the third truck on the inside line. And so it's just, again, by rows, he's one off, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I don't want to say, oh, what a move there by the 07. Yeah, well, that was a big move there by the 071. But I can tell you that 55 has been in second quite a bit this season, and I'm pretty sure he's ready to park it in victory lane. Dean's done one heck of a job this season. He pushed, I believe, both the 88 and the 16 to a win this year, and finished second last week. So I know he's itching to get that win, and he's got a good group of guys up there, and nothing better, the 88. If he's not in position, he owes you one. So that's a good feeling to have also. And then with having the 9 right there behind him, Charles, I believe, has got a win this year. So Dean looking to pick that up. We're going to have one hit the apron, maybe just get to the back of this and get out of this chaos. Because it's
I think Bob said, no, thank you. And I think what's happening here, I can't say for certain, obviously, but I think we're seeing a little bit of organization here where Gabe's saying, all right, let me get to either the first truck one down or maybe the tail end of the lead lap. And so now he's leading that. And interestingly, it's Tom Dixon is his pusher. So if right there, Gabe's ahead of Cody, it would actually be Gabe basically getting the kind of his own wave around, and it would have put Tom as the wave around truck to get his lap back the other way. So with that, there's the contact, and that might bring, caution is out, and that is going to change things up a bunch here, as that was 9 to go, coming to 8 to go. So now the question was, at the time of the yellow, who was where on track? Was Gabe ahead of the leaders or not? And based on the way the leaders are coming up to him, I don't think he was. So it might be the 88 is the wave around truck. We'll have to go see. But what we will do is let's go look at the contacts. I think it was with Jim Brooks as well as the 071 of Eric Laurie. Again, just like we talked about there, if no luck, or sorry, if not for bad luck, it'd be no luck at all for Eric. So we're going to focus on him here in that 071 truck. And we'll back it down. It's like I said, I think it was contact with he and the 51. We'll watch as they enter the turn here. And yeah, a little bit, actually, honestly, a little bit of net code as well. You saw the 51 drift up just a tiny bit. But again, I think there was space, but unfortunately, iRacing deemed there wasn't. Look at that 126 Robert Hooligan sneaking by there. Les Levy's going to do some drifting. Look right behind him. Bob Fitzgerald, he's going to do some drifting as well. Looks like they both should be able to keep it straight. And so, yeah, so honestly, for a yellow, nothing too crazy. But now what I want to look at is at the time of this yellow, where is Gabe? Where is Cody? Again, it's not an exact science. What I want to do is I want to see if I can find those caution lights and try to pause it as soon as I see them. Because then maybe we can see who had the nose ahead at the time of that caution. So right now it should be Cody, I believe, is still that nose ahead. And I believe it also goes back, if I remember right, Brandon, doesn't it? It goes back to like the scoring loop, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and with iRacing, you never know. So we've seen some things where iRacing is line guys up backwards, and either way, I think Gabe is going to get this. I believe the 51 would have been the next truck available. He was involved in that. But this guy right here, he was back there with that pack that lost this, and he's going to benefit from this. He's going to catch back up, and it's going to put all these teammates back together with guys needing to capitalize here late. So if you had some misfortune early, you can maybe rebound here, and who knows, that caution flag might not be put away for good yet.
And I think in all of this craziness, I think it wound up going to Hayden Davis in all of this here, Brandon, because he's coming on around, and I'm still showing the 88 on pit road. He came on pit road for fuel, and he's still showing one lap down to me. So I think actually in all of this, Hayden was actually the one to get the lucky dog. So I'm going to go back again. I want to see it. I mean, look where Hayden is. So Jim Brooks, he gets context. We know he's ineligible. We know the 83 of Jack Walls is ineligible as well. And right here, I'm looking as the time of this yellow, look where Tom Dixon is, look where Gabe Butler is. Remember we talked about even just the littlest of bumps. I think right there, if there's a 0x for the 411 trying to help Gabe, I think that costs him as well, that lucky dog, because maybe that 0x for the bump came at just the wrong time. So again, not certain, but that could have been what it was. And again, at the time of the yellow as well, there may be a situation where, again, Cody was maybe just ahead at that time. So, but what I am seeing, though, Brandon, is a lot of apron riding being done right now because these guys are saving every drop of fuel.
Yeah, you definitely got to make it, because some guys I don't think were even planning that there was going to be a caution, just the way everybody had just got so spread out, and then it just happened to be that everybody pitted and formed back up here. But definitely going to be something to keep our eyes on, and tough break there for the 88 if that is the case. But I don't think the caution's put away just yet. I think that third lane is going to get introduced pretty quickly off this restart, and going to see a very aggressive outside, as we just talked about. That 55, he's hungry. Those guys, the 16, he's got to win. The 9, like I said, I believe he got a win already this year, and that 55, he wants one bad.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And then, yeah, like I said, it's going to be that race within a race. So Hayden Davis, he's the beneficiary of that lucky dog. He's back on the lead lap, so he's going to go from that lap down to now he's in 12th, and it's going to be vying for a win. So then you got to go with these guys. Tom Dixon's going to be fighting with Jim Brooks, with Jack Walls, with Gabe Butler, and I believe Doug Webb as well. So those are going to be those guys fighting for the one lap down to be that lucky dog. So there's a lot to play for here. A lot of guys did pit under. Well, actually, I lied. Not a lot of guys pitted, but it looks like Actually, I think just Adam Kilday, Paul Witt, and Hayden Davis pit. So if we go beyond, if we get to those 2 green white checkers, those might be the guys sitting pretty. Because again, though, we haven't even got to the green white checkered window yet. So that's why these guys are saving every drop, just trying to make sure that they can get to that window. But again, on the pit stop laps, though, Cody pitted at 57, Dean and Charles lap 60. So 3 lap difference on fuel. Just then it's all about how much fuel do they put in those tanks.
Yeah, you want to save here, and I don't think it's gonna matter, Gaio. I think these guys are gonna have to bring those trucks back down pit lane, just because it's Daytona. We got the playoffs around the corner. You gotta capitalize now. You don't have time to say, hey, I'll get it next week, because next week might be too late. You might put yourself too far. You can't climb out. A lot of things at stake here on this restart, so I gotta be smart here. But I think the 16 is gonna be excited with who's pushing behind him, along with the 55. Both got teammates behind him, as the 16 brings us back to green, and it's going to be a good start here by the 55 with Dean Wilkinson. 9 needs to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, it's a good restart by the front row there, and like I said, yeah, now it's kind of who gets attached first. Wasn't the ideal start for Les Lee, because you can see on the top side, it was Robert Hooligan able to jump top. Les Lee now jumps to the inside line, so everybody's trying to figure out where do you want to position those trucks here. We talked about Jim Duda in the 33. He lost the draft. He's right back into the mix of this one. We know we expect to see Adam Kilday have something to say about this if he can get in there and have a chance at it. So, like I said, it was about a 6-truck race for the win. We just doubled it here with 5 to go at the line there.
Yeah, inside lane really prevailing right now, as we're going to see somebody maybe start to look to that third line to get it amped up. Yep, third line's getting ready to come into play. As we can see, the 24, Everett Lane, he's going to stay tucked in on that inside, but Dean's going to have that second lane rolling. He's going to catch right back up to the 16 of Cody Nagel.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, you got teammates on both lanes leading the top and the bottom. And I mean, we've seen Everett working with those guys all through the pit stop, so maybe we'll see if that continues. Lucky Dog battle, I can tell you at the moment, it's pretty much back and forth between Jim Brooks and Tom Dixon. But yeah, I was watching that third lane. It's gonna be, I believe, either Paul Witt or Adam Kilday. They just neither have kind of been able to get anybody to go with them yet. But I think, again, it's only a matter of time. Someone's going to see the momentum. They're going to jump. That's going to bring another truck in front, and then we're going to see that third lane really start to roll. Because, I mean, we're getting down to it here, Brandon. We're 3 to go. There goes Adam. He's going to jump up. You saw Robert Hooligan. He said, yep, I see it. I'm going to go too. So we're getting to that third lane here. It's about time as we are 3 to go.
Guys they're bumping off of each other right now, but they're doing a good job of hanging on to it as the 9 still pushing hard. But you're going to see here the 85 and the 126. Robert Hooligan, he picked up the win 2 weeks ago. We had a bye week, but picked up the win last time. Trying to go back-to-back here as him and Adam Kilday got a really, really good run down this backstretch. Pay attention to those temperatures. You don't want to blow it up or push too hard too soon. Got to keep those engine temps down as the 126 kisses the wall. Yep, go ahead, Gaia.
No, yeah, I saw the same thing there, a little bit of movement, and then you saw there Cody was able to clear Dean Wilkinson. Cody said, yep, I'm going to jump up top because that lets my teammate cool the engine down, and maybe it lets it fight between the two of us for who can win this race. But Dean still got an extra lane. He can try to get up there if he has another opportunity, but right now we are down to 2 to go. So again, though, it's not official till we get that white, so these guys got to try to keep it clean here. But if I'm Dean, I do exactly that. Jump to the top there out of 2. Oh, the momentum shift. It didn't go to plan there. And that's going to shake up the whole pack here. We got trouble in the back. We'll see if the caution flies. At the moment, we do stay green. And so right now, no caution. We still race back to potentially the white flag. Potentially, let's see who wins this race. And look at the teammates. They lined up, but that opens up the inside Everett lane.
There, and the one that's benefiting from right now, that made the 24 get that inside lane into himself. The 14 jump to the high lane. The 55 and the 9, they're going to run down. It's going to be one heck of a finish here as that 24 is going to really need a good push there from the 62. As you can see, the 16 right on the back of the 14, pushing him really, really good through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, this is the lineup that Vince and Cody want to have. They want to be able to push one another because, like I said, they're pretty much one brain right now. They know exactly what the other is going to do. But again, though, you can see, though, Jim Duda, he is doing everything he can to push Dean Wilkinson. Look at Les Levy pushing the 24. The 10 truck was right on him, too. Now, like I said, it's all about temperatures. Hopefully these guys have that little bit in store. They're flashing. You see they have a little bit of a door. We got trouble in the back, though. But we're going to stay pointed in the right direction. It's going to be a 3-wide finish for the win. Everett's trying to put him up in the fence. I think Everett was able to muscle him out there, and we'll grab the win here tonight at Daytona. Saw the trouble in the back there. We'll go back and take a look at that as well. But I believe our race winner is going to be that number 24 of Everett Lane. But let's go back here again, run into the checkered. We saw the contact that really shook things up there. And you can see looks like the contact maybe with the 85-33. That catches Cody. That catches as well Les Levy. Charles Johnson's trying to find somewhere to sneak around there as well. And then look at Paul Witt from all this. He was behind those guys. He was able to make that nice sharp left to avoid it. And he's going to sneak through as well and be able to grab that 4th position. But then this was the move. Let's go back here. Let's watch one more time here. The 24 said, I'm going to take all the racetrack I can take here, Brendan.
Yeah, they bumped and banged off each other, and this reminds me of the Kyle Larson and I believe, who was it, Briscoe, where they just boom, boom, boom. They didn't know who won until it came around the corner, but man, that was one heck of a finish, and what a battle by the 24. No teammates, none. He was up there by himself, and he really had to put the wheel to it, and had some bad luck the last couple weeks, but bounces back here and gets the win.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think you called it on that one, that he was going to have to be aggressive to get the win, and he took that to heart because that was an aggressive move at the end. And you can see it right here on this timing and scoring at the finish. It's showing 1/1000th of a second for Everett over Vince there. Dean Wilkinson still able to bring it home in 3rd. We talked about Paul Witt avoiding that wreck. He brings it home 4th. Then you got Hayden Davis, Adam Kilday, Charles Johnson, Justin Davis, Les Levy, and then Cody Nagels, unfortunately, brings it home in 10th after being right there, knocking on a top 5, trying to push a teammate to the win. Jim Duda as well, not what he was hoping for. Robert Hooligan, you can see, 19 seconds back, not the evening or not the ending he was hoping for. And then, man, just the battle for the trucks a lap down. I mean, again, look at the names here. You got Jim Brooks, Gabe Butler, Tom Dixon, Jack Walls, Doug Webb there as well, one down. So some big hitters in that one. Bob Fitzgerald, unfortunately, 2 down. And then some of the other trucks that just had the tough nights. Keaty Engstrom, again, we believe it was a pit penalty on exit. That cost him all that track position. Robert Amaral as well. And then Eric Laurie, just that's a night to forget, unfortunately, if you're that 071 this evening.
Yeah, tough break for him. And another tough break for Dean Wilkinson. He right there again did everything he could to put himself in position and just comes up a couple spots short tonight. And what do you say we bring him on up here and get his thoughts on the race?
Let's go grab that Dean fella because he was a busy driver here tonight, Brandon. And so we're going to jump over to that 55 truck. And Dean, there's a lot going on there. You think you're in the right line, then everything gets shifted and you lose Charles, but you find a 33 truck there and some help, and then you lose everybody out of turn 4. I mean, take us through tonight, and especially that charge to the end, because I mean there was a lot going on there. And was it just kind of hope that somebody would push you there?
Pretty much. I mean, it was a great race. Pretty much clean for the whole race. It was fun. I told Charles, I said if Cody or whoever, if Vince gets in front of me, I'm going to have to go to the high line. And I think I quickly jumped, and I'm sure I had room, and Robert was there. And I don't know if I caused that wreck or if somebody hit him, but if it was me, I guess I apologize for that. I didn't look back at that, but 33, appreciate that push. I think there's a bit of net code too, from me and Cody. I think that's what maybe started that little mayhem at the back.
There's a little bit of net code, unfortunately, a couple things we saw tonight. So then, I mean, that's just unfortunately the nature of iRacing to some extent.
Yeah. Oh, I'll take a top 3.
Yeah, Dean. Hey, I got a question for you, and it's when you guys on that last pit stop. I know the 64 had some trouble, but if he don't have no trouble, and how far do you think you guys are able to build up enough speed to really put a gap? There was only 3 trucks behind you. You guys would have had 3 trucks, and you had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Do you think you guys maybe would have been able to withstand that lead a little bit longer?
I don't know. That was a pretty big train. You said there was only 3. I thought there was like 6 trucks there. But I don't know why Kitty pulled off for some reason to get behind us instead of staying in front of me, because I think we would have been better if he'd stayed in front. But I'm not sure why he did that. But I guess he was just giving up the lead, giving up to the lead lap trucks.
Yeah, and I had the same question there too. I believe he may have. I think he hit pit road afterwards, so I think he maybe had a pit penalty on exit. And Brandon and I were talking about the same thing. I was like, man, the 3 of you, I don't think it would have broken the draft, but I think it, like I said, it would have taken a little longer for Cody and them to get back to you guys. And then the other part that the main thing I was watching too was the strategy. You and Charles were able to run long, and at times when it was just 2 of you, I mean, you guys pushed like there was no tomorrow, and you did your pit entries. Oh, I see I think you maybe got a little bump there out of 4 that got you loose and somehow able to hang on to it there at the end. But again, the pit entries that, like Brandon and I were joking, where it's like, man, if you told me that I put $20 that you weren't going to get through that without a penalty, and then still somehow you got that thing woed down and back out on track. So
it was close. The second to last pit stop, I think I was at 65 when I hit the line, but I nailed it down to 54 or something, which didn't give me the penalty, thank God. But I really thought I was getting one there. Then the last pit stop, I was grandma going in there. I didn't even. I was.
It was super impressive, Dean. Like I said, we know when pit stops are coming, we're like, okay, when's Dean coming in? We're gonna put some camera on him because we know what he's gonna do. And yeah, did not disappoint. I say Brandon's biased is pulling for you. So he's waiting for that win. He feels like it's only a matter of time because, like I said, you've been putting yourself in such good spots, just not quite getting the right place at the right time in these. But I'll say with the result, you do jump up 2 spots in points up into the top 8 now. So obviously we got one more to go after tonight till we get to those playoffs. So is this a look at points thing going into next week, or is this just nope, race by race? I'm just going to try to get everything I can.
Yeah, race by race. I mean, start of the season, I was doing terrible. I don't even think I was in the running for playoffs. Then got lucky and got a few good races in there. So I just want to make the playoffs. It all resets. So yeah, got to stay in the top. Where am I 8? So as long as I'm in the top 8, 10, I'm good.
Yeah, but say you're in a good spot right now. So before we let you go though, as always, Dean, want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shout outs for that podium this evening?
Well, I'd like to thank Charles for pushing me, one of my teammates, and my other teammates, Tom and Bob. They didn't have, I don't think they had much luck tonight. I want to thank you guys for broadcast as usual. I go back and watch this right after this. Always enjoy it. Area 51, great lead. All the drivers again, good race tonight. It was very clean. It was fun to race 3 wide for some laps there. It was exciting. And yeah, thank you. Thanks again. Oh, and congratulations to Everett. Good win.
All right, well, thank you again, Dean. As always, a pleasure, man, and look forward to seeing you back on track here in a week's time. And like I said, I think Brennan's gonna put that good mojo on you to get that win here soon. But I'll tell him to save it for the playoffs though for you.
Right on. Thanks, Kyle.
All right, Brennan. That is Dean Wilkinson in that number 55 cheer wine machine. But we got to jump one spot forward, and that is to the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Vince, you're feeling good, I'm guessing. You got Cody behind you. You got the lead at the white, and then you lose pretty much everything coming out of 4. And
it's not funny, Gil.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, hey, I'm gonna put a hold on. Let me go back to the points here real quick. So it's I know you don't like good points days, but you do jump 3 spots in the points. But then then obviously I'm gonna say Brandon put it out there in the world. He said Everett's going to be aggressive, try to win this race, and he kind of did there, and it was 1,000th of a second. I mean, was there anything you can do at that situation, or are you just kind of being on the outside line there, just kind of a passenger to try to do anything from that rub down to the tri-oval?
Yeah, I was trying to make sure I had a 24 and not 3. Man, I could have sworn I thought I seen a 3 there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have done anything more. I mean, I was just getting door there, and I was trying to give him a little space, but I thought I would have the run either way if he was keep dooring me, if I just carried out the momentum. But it looks like I might have gotten into Dean there to the third, because he was on the third too, and I wasn't sure if I was clear or not, and I think he got me a little bit where I lost the momentum to the line. But either way, it is what it is.
Yeah, I want to take it a couple laps back before that. I seen you guys made the decision to jump to the middle lane. If you can go back three laps, do you stay on that bottom lane, or what was the mindset to really go to the middle lane?
Oh, I was blazing hot. I mean, and then I seen that Cody was falling back a little bit, I think, and I just came up and filled that spot. And then if I was gonna be able to clear the bottom, but I felt like Cody had temps already, so I wanted to at least manage the mid there, because I think the mid would have won that if it would have stayed green and everybody stayed pushing. Other than that one stage 47 for the money lap, but you never know. I don't know exactly what would have played out, but I felt real comfortable if I had Cody behind me pushing.
Yeah, and that's what I told Brandon, was like, okay, you got those two lined up, you're feeling good, because I say it's a really stout combo with the two of you. You had a little bit of extra teammates tonight too, which was fun to see you guys working with them as well. I believe it was Paul and the 33 of Jim. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And yeah, just unfortunately didn't quite pan out there. But yeah, like you said though, it was just a little bit of contact, and then that got. I think also I say there's a lot of stuff happening there coming out of 4, and then like I said, that dragged down to the line. I mean, it was going to be tight between the 3 of you.
Yeah, I think the bottom lane shoved me up a little bit and caused that net code, I think, out of 4 there. And, the whole field got destroyed. But man, I sure felt good after we're 3 wide there at the coming out of 4. I thought if we would have raced clean, I probably would have had it. I had the momentum.
Yeah, no, it definitely and that's the thing is that's why usually the outside lane is the kind of the preferred lane, or at least the middle lane, I'd say, because like you said, the momentum coming out is usually where you're able to get it. So, yeah. So again, I know obviously not the result you're wanting there at the end. I mean, do you at all look at points on that? It's like, okay, well, I jumped some points up. I'm feeling safer for the playoffs, or is this just one of those? It's like, man, I wanted that win.
You know, it goes either way because you never know how playoffs is going to end up. You know how it goes. But I think honestly, I think wins probably feels a little bit better because a win's hard to get anywhere, and yeah, I guess I should just try a little bit harder. Maybe I should have just door banged a little bit back. But I'm not that kind of driver. I never have. I never will.
Yeah, I'd say it was definitely aggressive as then obviously like I said, I mean, a thousandth of a second's obviously not the way you want to get it, but again, I mean, definitely not one to hold your hat on. I'd say it was just an amazing drive, and yeah, I definitely enjoy the 3 not the 24 comment because yeah, that was definitely we've definitely seen moves like that happen before.
I needed a double check. I'm like, is that 24 to 3?
Well, I'd say watch out next week. He might have that all black 24 car. You never know. I don't know if
Hell
that's
yeah.
sacrilegious to do or not, though. I'd say that's a dangerous one.
Everett usually drives me fairly and clean and everything. And I mean, we are racing a selfish sport, so everybody wants to freaking win just as bad as I do. I mean, I get it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, and yeah, I'd say there's unfortunate. I think that's the second one this season where it feel like maybe I kind of taken away from you. But like I said, I mean, there's still plenty of racing to go. Even though we're almost in playoffs, there's still 5 more races, 6 more on the Sunday. Well, no, I think you're not doing Sunday night. So yeah, 5 more to go here on the Fridays. So like I said, just keep doing what you're doing, man. So I'd say it's only a matter of time. It's what we always kind of harp on every time is just got to keep putting yourself in that position. And one of those times it'll turn the right way for you. So again, not the result I know you wanted, Vince, but again, a great job this evening. And we were watching you and Cody just doing a great job all night long. So always got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that runner-up this evening.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, and I can't wait to watch this one back. I want to thank Area 51 for putting on this league and let me have a chance to race with these boys. I want to thank my teammates tonight, Cody, Jim, and Paul. Also want to thank my family out in Arizona, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my aunts and uncles. And I also want to thank my wife for letting me do what I do here throughout the week and let me have some fun for a little bit.
Now it was a lot of fun watching you tonight, and if you're ever in the Arizona area, let me know. Say depending on where they're at, I'm probably not too far of a road trip away. So, but yeah, great job again though tonight, Vince.
Thank you, boys.
All right, Brandon, that leaves us one driver left to chat with, and that is going to be our race winner, Everett Lane. And I'm saying it, Brandon, you put it out there in the world on, I believe the pre-race said Everett's going to have to be aggressive to try to win this race, and he did exactly that tonight, able to get the win. Didn't have the teammates like you talked about too. It was a tough night for the Bootknockers as a whole, but Everett, you made it. You were able to get the opening you needed. And then you made your truck really wide there as they just obviously couldn't hold the bottom there. Had to drift up top to try to grab that win tonight. Just giving you a hard time there.
Yeah, it was a pretty good night tonight for the Bootknockers. Not a good night for the other guys, but good night for me. The bottom lane opened up. Vince moved up to go in front of Cody there and left it open for me. And Les was telling me he's going to push, so he was pushing pretty good, and they had a big crash there, unfortunately, because it was such a great race tonight. But yeah, I had some old tires on the truck going into that corner, so the truck was getting a little loose coming to the checkered flag, and it kind of like drifted up just a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately for Vince, we touched, and I was able to pull away from him a little bit there.
Yeah, and that type of stuff happens, and it's part of racing, but I wanna go all the way back when when you hear, I'm assuming you heard it over the the channel with the team. You lost Eric, and then you lose Gabe, and you don't have those guys up around you, and we don't have the cautions that we normally do until late in the race. And what's your mindset up there? You're familiar with these drivers because you race with them, but you don't have the help that they do. So how do you battle through that and pick your time when you're gonna pit and which group you're gonna pit with to be able to stay up front and have a chance to win like you did tonight?
Yeah, unfortunately, there Eric blew an engine, and it caused Doug to back up a little bit, and Gabe, being the great teammate that he is, went back there to pick him up, and they fought hard to try to get back up there all night long. And it's just unfortunate for Eric to blow the engine in front. But it knocked out the three of my teammates, which made it kind of tough for me all night long. But I was going to stay with these guys and pit where they pitted and just try to stay with them. I outpitted them on the first pit. I pulled out about 10 trucks on them, and I knew I was in trouble there because they were going to blow right by me. And they did what they were supposed to do as a team, keep me pinned down, keep me from the lead. And I was just sitting there riding, being patient, trying to get a good night with some points and all. And like I said, the bottom opened up, and once the bottom opened up, I filled a hole and just raced hard there at the end. Unfortunately, like I said, we had that little accident there at the end, and I was able to get the victory. But there's a race to the white flag, and then there's a race after the white flag. So that's the way I race. Patient until the white flag comes out, and then after the white flag comes out, it's bring back the steering wheel.
And I saw the don't poke the bear on the back of your truck there. So say the bear came loose there on the white flag, it looks like. But I guess the question mark I say was going to be, are we going to see a Black Goodwrench truck for next week's race? Or is that not allowed with a 24 number?
Well, those two guys were rivals, but you never know. You could see a solid black truck out there, which could be the Intimidator, but I don't know. There's a lot of good racers over here, and I enjoy racing over here. These guys, a bunch of class acts over here, and I enjoy it.
No, it was a lot of fun watching you, and I'll say Brandon loves this stuff. He loves the competitiveness. I won't say rivalry yet, but say you always want to get that little extra drama, if you will. So say he doesn't want to be all nice and friendly. So he wants you guys dicing it up there, and you were able to do exactly that. So again, just a great job tonight. Like I said, I mean, you had to work for it this evening with losing some of your helpers there, but you did a hell of a job tonight to grab that win this evening. So definitely want to give you the floor though for any thanks and shouts for that win this evening.
I want to thank my team, the Boot Knockers. I mean, they struggled tonight a little bit, but that happens sometimes. I've been on that bad hand of that myself a couple of weeks ago at Atlanta. I want to thank Gabe and Doug and Eric and all my teammates. I want to throw a shout out to my buddy Thomas Holder out there. He had some surgery and struggling a little bit with some recovery, but he's getting better. He should be back out here within a couple of weeks or so. But sending my prayers out to my buddy Thomas and trying to get him better, getting back out of here on the track. I want to thank you, Gael, and what's his face up there, Brad or Brandon. I forget the name there, but I want to thank what you guys do up there. You're the best announcers in iRace, and I think you keep it interesting. You stay on top of the subjects, and I really enjoy going back and watching all the replays of the show and everything of the broadcast. I want to thank Charles for everything he does over here, all the admins. And I want to thank Les there for giving me a good shove there. I mean, unfortunately, he got wrecked, but I want to throw a shout out to Les, too.
Yeah, no, definitely share your sentiments, too. Like I said, I'll say when you talk to him, tell him, hey, take it easy. That way, get you back out on track because we're hard-headed. We want to get back out there sooner than we should. So, yeah, tell him like you said when we were talking pre-race. Tell him to lock the room up. Don't go in there until he's fully healed. But yeah, definitely look forward to seeing him hopefully back on track as soon as possible. So yeah, definitely thinking about you, Thomas, and hope to see you 100% soon, sir.
Yeah, I want to shout out to Bud also. Bud Steele,
Yes.
Get well, Bud, and our prayers are all out for you. Get well, take your time, getting back out on the track. Don't rush things.
Yeah, a stubborn old man over here. But Everett, great job tonight, man. Looking forward to seeing you for next week's for the regular season finale, and then going after that final top 12 spots for the final 4 playoffs.
Thank you, Gael. Thank you guys up there. You guys do a great job.
Have a good night, sir.
Good night.
All right, Brandon, that is our race winner in the 24. And yeah, I'll say Vince probably not happy with the way it all went down there. Obviously, you never want to lose, but yeah, I'm guessing maybe kind of the vibe I'm getting is didn't expect to kind of get moved up the track a little bit, I guess you could say nicely. But I mean, Everett said kind of what I feel like too is like we're all greedy at the end of these things, and I mean, it wasn't like he just like flat out dumped him. He made his truck real wide, drifted up a bunch, and I said, I don't. There's only it's a balance. Obviously, you don't want to be too nice at the same time. You don't want to make enemies, and so maybe there's that fine line to balance. But that's like I said, I know you're eating this up though right now.
Yeah, I think Everett was just trying to rattle his cage. I don't think he was trying to do too much. No, these guys just racing hard. It sucks, especially like you said, how close it was. And when you fight all night and the way those guys, they led most of the race. I mean, if we go back and probably look, I would assume either the 14 or the 16 led most of this race. And when you work that hard and race that good and then just come up, a thousand short, it stings, but it fuels some fire going into the playoffs. And then it not only that, but the 14, he's gonna flip around and use that as motivation. He hasn't hit victory lane this season, and that's unlikely, or that's uncommon for the 14. And he'll park it there, and he'll do it when it matters most, and probably be in the playoffs, and just have to get back up on the wheel. And it just shows you how tough it is to win out here, and how competitive it is, and how good this league is. I think it goes a little bit unnoticed just how good this league really is. And these drivers do one hell of a job of putting on a show for us and making it easy up here. And I'm excited for next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we will be back again on Sunday night, back here again at Daytona. So yeah, want to thank everybody that is watching, that supports us here at Green White Checker TV. And like sentiments were shared, Bud, definitely miss you on track. But like I said, take your time, get fully healed, and look forward to seeing you as soon as you are able to. And then, yeah, Mr. Holder as well, same thing. Take your time, man. I say, we'll be here when you're ready, so don't rush anything. So, but yeah, Brandon, as always, a pleasure doing these with you. Looking forward to Sunday night with the Xfinity cars back here. And like I said, one more regular season race, and then it is playoff time for Area 51. So until Sunday night, as always, take care, stay safe, have a good night.